Hello students, in this video I will discuss what rate you should use for discounting lease payments. Both lessee and lessor have to discount lease payments and they use an appropriate discount rate. So they discount lease payments using an appropriate rate. Now the question is, what is this appropriate rate for discounting lease payments? At what rate they should discount lease payments? So for lessor, this rate is the rate implicit in the lease. Rate implicit in the lease contract and lease payments. This is the rate that is reflected in the lease, reflected in the lease term. So the rate that is reflected in the lease contract and lease terms is the rate implicit in the lease. You can calculate the implicit rate, although not required from CPA exam perspective. But if you want to calculate, yes, you can calculate this rate, the rate that is implicit in the lease. Generally, CPA exam question provides this rate and specifies that this is the rate that is implicit in the lease. But if you want, you can calculate that. So lessor will use the rate implicit in the lease for discounting lease payments. Now, lessee will also use the rate that is implicit in the lease. But if the rate implicit in the lease cannot be determined, then lessee can use incremental borrowing rate. So I'm talking only for lessee. So if you're not able to determine the rate implicit in the lease for lessee, then you can use incremental borrowing rate. Now, what is this incremental borrowing rate? So this is the rate at which lessee would borrow. So the rate at which lessee would borrow the same amount in the same currency or the same terms and using the same collateral, that is incremental borrowing rate. So the rate at which lessee would borrow under the similar circumstances, under the similar terms, is the incremental borrowing rate. So for lessor, you have to use rate implicit in the lease. For lessee, you have to use the rate implicit in the lease. But if that rate cannot be determined, then for lessee, you can use incremental borrowing rate. All right, students, I will come again with another video. Goodbye. Take care.